everybody. If you're here watching, that means I finally decided to up and do it, and we're gonna do a little YouTube channel. My name's Ryan. I'm the owner of Ralph's Ranks Firewood, and had it for 3 years, almost full time. This year's really kicking off to be full time. Been selling firewood for roughly 16 years. Just south of St. Louis, Missouri. Basically, this channel is just going to be showing you the ins and outs of my operation. You can agree with it, you don't agree with it, it doesn't really matter. Take it or leave it. More or less, it's going to be real time because I focus on actually working instead of YouTube like a whole lot of the other channels on here I've watched. I'll flip the camera around here shortly and kind of show you my yacht the way it looks right now. It's constantly changing, but it is what it is. Today I'm sitting in the skid doing a little bit of split that I had ready, getting it ready for the 28 Pro. It's 0 degrees here today, so I'm trying to stay in the skid as much as I can and not do a whole lot. Do a little cleanup, gonna move some logs around because I got another load of hickory logs coming in. We'll get going here in a minute. Got a pretty big white oak over here that I tried to get rid of, but the guy that I deal with normally or buying stuff said that it wasn't really worth anything to him. It was showing some cracks and had a wormhole in the base of it. If I can't get more than I can get for firewood for him as a log, I pretty well stick them into wood. 0 degree weather over here really helps this stuff pop pretty good. I'm sitting in a Cat 299 D2. My little brother works for Firewood Cat, and we got a pretty decent deal on this thing. Had a couple problems and just keep her maintained good. And here on the farm, we don't really beat the hell out of it too much, so it's done us very well. Pretty much sold on all the Wolf Ridge equipment. This is a Wolf Ridge 3030 SS on the front of this. I've got a 6-way wedge for it, but I really like running this 4-way. 4-way I'm able to work a lot better. I use the 6-way quite often on stuff when I'm making boiler wood or just trying to bust it down into smaller sizes that I can hit one done kind of deal. But this 4-way works real well for being able to pop pieces off like yay over the top and grab the next one over here and do the same thing again. Yeah, my 28 Pro can handle all this type of stuff without having to do this, but you talk about a back saver, it's right here. And a time saver in my opinion. I do all my cutting in one spot. Try to keep my sawdust and whatnot out of the way. I got this whole lot up here pretty much gravelled. Just spent a little bit of money getting a whole bunch of millings from my former job and spread that all out. Hopefully I'm gonna have a pretty good looking parking lot up here for firewood. Part of keeping your lot nice and clean is sawdust control, and let me tell you, you make a lot of it when you do the work that I do. This is a little bit of pin oak, I like to call it. Pin oak, water oak, whatever you want to call it. I work with a few different tree service companies, and this is one of them that they brought this to me and dropped it off. Treat them right, they treat you right kind of deal. You just gotta learn the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts. This is probably my favorite type of stuff right here, this oak. As you can see, it just pops. Some of the easiest stuff to work with left and right. Let me tell you, you can really make a pile of wood if you can run a skid steer in one of these. You're in some big wood rather quickly. Then the 28 Pro, I got auto cycle on. If you can get somebody that knows how to run it and learn it fairly quickly, you can really make some wood. I've been buying some rounds from a guy down south. Brings 5 rank at a time on a truck, and I timed it the other day, me by myself. I split all 5 rank in a little under 2.5 hours. This old hay elevator here in 28 Pro. Pretty dang good for one guy. There's a whole lot of people that have said something to me about upgrading machines, getting something a little faster, but in my opinion, when you're just one guy running with it, it's pretty hard to keep up with that 28 Pro by yourself, and 9 times out of 10, I'm not the one running it. I'm paying a guy to do it. Pretty tough to get somebody that can outwork that machine as it is, so I'm pretty happy with it. I guess this first video here, I'm just trying to talk you through a couple of the things that I do, and I'll include some clips from the past years of me growing and expanding into this, and pictures. As we go, it's just going to be a day-to-day type of deal. There'll be a lot of screw-ups. I'm going to have to watch my mouth on this YouTube thing, I think. I got a potty mouth. The last one I got to pop open right here and stick in the pile, and I'll do a little loop around my lot, kind of show you some of the stuff I got going on here. This little lot that I got's actually on my family's century farm. I'm very, very, very blessed that I was even given this opportunity here. This was kind of a dead spot on our farm here. My grandfather always called it the rock pen. It's basically all clay rock down in here, and I've done a whole lot of excavation and leveling off into making it what it is. And I'm pretty sure I got some old videos that kind of show it as to what it started as. You'll see it's changed a whole lot. My dad has an outdoor boiler for his old house. Pretty particular about what goes into my good piles. You can see the pile in the background right here. That's all good stuff. I call it fireplace and stove wood. We shoot for 16-inch lengths and split down to hand size. Anything that doesn't really meet my quota for being my nice premium wood goes into a pile for bonfire boiler wood, and 9 times out of 10 it just ends up over at my dad's running through his boiler. I'm gonna say he burns 10 to 12 quart a year keeping that house warm over there, so he goes through quite a bit of it. A lot of the tree service stuff that comes in ends up just going to that, because it just is what it is. I have a few other customers that buy some of that stuff to keep me cleaned out. I try to keep the lot filled with good stuff, not bad stuff kind of deal. This business is about making money, so the good stuff makes money, the bad stuff just pays the bills, and you keep trucking. I don't have any pallets stacked up right now. I just shipped a 12 quart load of hickory out to Colorado, but one of the deals I got going on now is shipping firewood all the way out to Denver, Colorado to a guy named Eric Pedroy. He owns Denver Firewood. Pretty good guy to deal with. Pretty happy with the relationship that I've made here. This pile over here is a pile that I got from Big River Timber. He does a lot of cedar cedar clearing, and when he does clearing jobs, he gets obviously all other kinds of stuff. And he's separating out the hickory, and I'm buying it from him by the truckload. Gets 12 cord on a load when he brings it to me. I used to have a hardwood pile in there. I think I'm gonna dedicate that to just piling up a big old pile of hickory and having stockpiled. In case you haven't figured out, or if you don't know me, you don't know me at this point, I guess. This is the first friggin' one. The Ralph's Ranks Firewood comes from that dude right there. That's Ralph Dog. He's my pup. I got him about, when we share a birthday. He's 4 years old, August 7th. I got him a little over 4 years ago now, kind of right when I decided that I was going to try to make a full-time operation out of this firewood business here. He kind of sticks with me by my side. If you know Goldens, you know they love attention and love absolutely everybody. So he gets to go on deliveries with me and hangs out with me all the time. I got a few logs piled up down here yet to get worked up and get over in my good pile over there. Little pile right here in front of me is a pile of cherry. Got a stockpile of that in a field that I did a clearing job for. It's a constant change around here though, honestly. Take you over. I do have a processor. It's a pretty old one from my research and whatnot. I believe they called them beaver wood eaters back in the day. I think they made them from like 88 to 91 or something, and that was about it. I'm pretty sure it was a Canada company. Used to be all automated, but it's been converted to just valve controls, and I absolutely love it. It's got a little 4-cylinder Kubota diesel that runs everything. The only thing that I don't necessarily care for, but it sure helps the machine run, is the saw blade on it runs straight off engine RPM on a belt drive. So when the machine's running, PTO's in, that chain's spinning the entire time. It's not like the newer ones where they shut on and off on a hydraulic motor. Got an 8-way wedge on the back of that now, and it's kind of set up on a box style wedge. We've got quite a few clips of that thing in action, and I'll show you how it goes. If you can tell, my pile's pretty clean firewood, really. I don't have a whole lot of scrap and bark pieces in there and whatnot. If it falls off through the wedge, it kind of stays sitting on the ground, because I typically try to run that thing with somebody else with me. We're picking up the firewood by hand and putting it on the conveyor and sending it up, rather than sending it right up the conveyor or trying to use grizzly bars or anything. It keeps my piles a lot cleaner, keeps everybody a little happier along those lines. And like I said once before already, the whole lot's gravel, so I'm not really dealing with dirt. I got this little retaining wall right here. Every now and then I'll set the processor up on it, just split over the end and stockpile some stuff. If I got special orders going out, that's typically the way I do it. I guess that's just about it for now. I'm about done, wrapped up doing what I was gonna do here today. Gonna clean out the back of that trailer from a couple deliveries that I had. Other than that, it's my little shed. Everybody likes to call the outhouse, but it's just a shed I got to keep a few things in up here. Do have one of the Wolf Ridge baggers. Some things are pretty nice. I used to bundle up the kindling over here like that. Typically try to include some of that with my sales every now and then. People want a bunch of them, I sell them. Started putting them in the bags though. The bags are a lot nicer to deal with. I do have a tote of pecan sitting over there too, keep separate for some smokers. You can tell old Ralph Dog's just wanting to play real bad. I'm gonna unhook this thing here and stick a bucket on, clean the back of the trailer out. I'm gonna go park this skid back inside for the night. Pretty much go home. Try to do a little editing. I'm not very good at it, but editing includes some pics and videos that I got stored up. And if you guys want to see anything special, any questions, I guess like, comment, follow along, see how this thing goes. Ain't gonna be nothing special, I can tell you that. It's gonna be real time. Thanks. Sometime this week. Typically just light a fire and let this stuff burn. The whole hillside right here used to be covered in cedars and a couple trees. You can see I got that end cleared off and piled down there ready to burn the tops. I got 6 logs over there. I got a guy I sell them to. A few more to clean out from over here yet too. Doing all that to get the most sun and wind I can up here. That's your best friend in this business, is the sun and wind. That's how you dry firewood. It's the only way to dry firewood, in my opinion. Call that a wrap. Kick this bucket off. I gotta grab my grapple. Working with a company called Vetco on it. They're out of Wright City, Missouri. Pretty super guy to deal with. Very reasonable price products. He's got all kinds of stuff for skid steers. I really like the way he built this grapple. I'll show you the gist of it over here and hook hard. Got a solid back on it, which I really love for getting any kind of push and brush. I don't like chances of anything coming back through the bucket on me, and got a solid cutting edge and teeth, and everything's 1/2 inch steel, 3 inch spacing across that thing in the bottom. But the only thing I didn't care for was the grapple arms themselves weren't quite long enough for me to be able to grab littler logs very easily when I'm in the woods trying to get stuff out or do anything around here. All it took was a phone call, a little bit of talking to him about what I thought, and he made me up a couple longer ones. I just got to take these off, swap them out up there for him, and a few extra bucks cost his way for the time, and we'll be set. That's the way I like to run my business, and happy that he runs his the same way. Work with me, I work with you kind of deal. This is the farm around here where I grew up. Grandparents' house. I guess you guys get to see a little bit of everything around here. So got a little brother that runs around and helps me out every now and then. My dad helps me out a bunch. A couple cousins. I'm sure of these real-time videos, you'll get to meet everybody. Like I said, Ralph Dog just wants to play. Pretty happy to see me out of the skid, I guess. Tell you what though, around my parts, it don't really get this cold too often. I picked a good day to try to do something like this, I guess. For whatever reason, he doesn't seem to mind. Typically just leave the skid parked up there, but putting it in the shop and closing the door because the wind chills are in the negatives for dang sure. Like to keep the battery charger right there, and if I need it, be able to start it up and let her warm up. Walking back up to the truck. It's cold.